fire for your mind. The kosher clinician.
Of being the ultimate warrior.
So, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. I can hear you perfect.
Awesome, man. So, this goes deep. It started from my own personal trials and my journey. It's not to say that I gained a lot of weight, but I was on my way down, basically down the wrong path. I was going through a massive life-changing custody battle, of typical in our culture, the whole baby mama, baby daddy thing. I was doing that back in 2014. And while I was going through this battle, I was losing myself. I'm working a dead-end job. I'm eating whatever, drinking whatever. I was so used to being back in school, being back in college. Everything was kind of easier, even though it didn't feel easy then. But when you became an adult, it was like, man, that was kind of easy.
No doubt.
And I just started, kind of eating myself to death. So long story short, man, I'm at Pizza Hut. I'm leaving out of pizza. I just, just went in on a pizza, it's a buffet. I'm leaving out of Pizza Hut and my heart is pounding and my head is pounding. And I'm just like, man, what, something don't feel right. Like it feels like something's going to explode. I couldn't really explain what I felt. I felt like I was going to die or something, even though I'm 26. So I'm like, I know it can't be nothing too crazy. So I go to the nearest Walgreens and I basically tell him what my symptoms are. Just so happened to be a black man, a pharmacist. So he's like, yo, come on back. He threw the thing on my arm and checking my blood pressure. He's like, man, dude, your blood pressure's through the roof. Like, you way too young for this, And I'm like, he asked me what I was doing. I was like, well, I just ate a lot. And of course he started explaining to me and then he kind of stopped and was like, we die from this. And I didn't really understand what that meant at the time. So then later on, I'm not going to say that this really made me change my ways. It didn't. I kept eating and doing what I was doing. And then slowly but surely I ended up getting into health. And that wasn't for the sake of health. It was for the sake of I was gaining weight and I was trying to look bad. So first thing I did, I started Googling stuff right before I even dived in a personal trainer, getting a certification. And that's when I can't remember the website. It might've been like WebMD or something, but it was like 44% of African Americans are obese. And that's when they dropped all of those stats. And the number one stat was all men die from a heart attack. That's the number one cause from all men, at least from my research. But we die 7 years earlier than everybody else. And that was that. I guess you can say where Black Super Dad was born. No doubt. So hopefully that answers your question. It goes deeper than that. But
no. Excellent. So, I titled the show "The Indomitable Male" and the importance of health and fitness on the male psyche. As a clinical therapist, Coach Edwards, we look at things from what I call a biopsychosocial spiritual model. And what you're doing actually complements the body. We call it the psychosomatic response. So psycho meaning mind over body, body over mind. And when the body is optimized, when the spirit is optimized, the mind is optimized, and when the environment is optimized, then you have what's called the indomitable male. But I want you to go more a little bit in detail about your education, the results that you're getting. I actually saw the numbers on your page. I went on your page, an excellent page, man. Nice. The testimonies are great, man. And, listen, I played ball in high school. I'm 6'5". I was 220 in high school. I mean, I'm about 280 now.
It's all good. We can fix that real quick.
But I got a bike. I got the equipment. I just got to get consistent with doing that. I'm trying to drink water. I'm trying to keep myself in shape. But at one time, Coach Edwards, there was a warrior class. When you go back to Africa, there was a warrior class, and the warrior class was not only important to the solidification of the male psyche, but it was also important to keeping our women happy, because when a man is physically fit, he can perform better in the bedroom. So once again, what made you go deeper into the depths of becoming Coach Ronnie Edwards and being a super dad? And why is it so important, even in this critical point of time now, that men stay in optimal health to provide and make sure they take care of their families?
Perfect, man. And it's Edmonds. Everybody says Edwards on accident. No, you good. You good, brother. Right. So what led to it was we live in a weird world now where fitness is kind of a joke. It's we think it's extracurricular, and not just black people or black men. Everybody does. You think it's extra to be in shape, right? Not realizing everybody and their mama has been out of shape before. It's been overweight. You've been self-conscious about taking your shirt off at the beach. These things affect life, and they affect every aspect of life. So because of this old ruined industry, we think it's extra to have a gym membership, it's extra to go ride your bike, it's extra to do push-ups. These things are a requirement to live our best life.
That's right. I agree. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, right?
And not doing it, the life, I guess I would say like the hierarchy, the rank that you can live your best life. So let's say 100% is like the most glorious, amazing life ever. As you being out of shape or going to get to the doctor and getting on more and more meds, or your sex drive is going down, or your energy's real low, that's lowering how good you live. And that's what I really wanted to bring to these men. So not only, even though I say, yeah, we died 7.1 years earlier than, you know, all of the groups, but most of us experiencing these chronic issues is like you're the walking dead. You know, the number one issue my clients tell me, 2 issues. Number one, not being able to play with their kids because they don't have the energy for their children. And then the worst issue is sex drive is extremely low, which means performing for your lady in the bedroom is low. And that's a part of being a man. So it got deeper over time when I realized, like, this is not a joke. It's not just about preventing death. It's about increasing life. If you want to live, you gotta, I'm not saying you gotta be the best, the most healthy guy ever, but you gotta be at least okay. You know, you gotta be able to at least throw your kids in the air. You gotta be able to at least perform with your lady. You gotta be able to at least function without caffeine, and caffeine becomes something you like to do because it gives you more adrenaline, not giving you the energy just to survive and get out of bed. So that's when it went deeper, and realizing that we're the man of our house. That's the biggest one. Everything comes to us. You know, you can play the blame game all day. You can go wife. Of course, our queens are extremely strong, and I'm not taking any of their strength and value away from them. But it is this way. You know, it's kind of created this way for the man to kind of lead. No doubt. Not to say that the woman, she can lead as well. You know, it's a fair game, more fair game. But we know if we good and we're doing right, that will follow in our house. So if we're not good, then it won't. Well, so that's kind of what it led to.
On my show, I'm a traditionalist, man. So I believe 100% that a man should lead in his family. Some relationships are more egalitarian. You know, if that's what a person wants to do, that's between them. Exactly. I'm a traditionalist, man. I believe men should be the leaders in their families. They should be fair and expeditious in their leadership. I don't believe abuse of power, but I think men should be the exemplars in their families. You know, I don't believe there can be 2 captains of a ship. There can only be one.
Agreed.
And so if you got 2 captains in the ship, you're gonna have chaos. So everything you said is perfect, because I think men should get themselves in shape. And I say also women need to lose weight and keep themselves looking good for the men as well. You know, men are very visual. Men are 100%. I mean, women are visual, but I would say the men are visual at a higher level. So besides a better body, what are the benefits of an optimized body, Coach Edmonds? Did I say it right?
Christ. Yes, Edmonds. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The benefits, man. So the main benefit, of course, when clients come to me, no matter where their health is, no matter if they've had a heart attack before, they want to look better. So the main benefit is, it's not about looking better. It's about how you feel about you look. That's it. How do you feel? So the benefit is self-confidence, the number one benefit. But this goes deeper. So, you know, guys like me and you, we're businessmen as well. So when you talk about performing at your optimal, how do you think we have the capacity to make more money? Having the capacity to work harder, to work more, to perform at a higher level is going to equal more money. So when my client says, I don't have energy, so you probably didn't have energy to work overtime either, which means it's going to affect your bottom down, your bottom number, how much money you're actually bringing into your house. So we go confidence, we go money. And then most importantly, I guess, in my opinion, why we all do what we do is we're looking for some sort of love. We're looking for some sort of relationship, whether that be with ourselves, our partner, our kids, the public, you know, post it on Instagram to make so people like it and you feel good about it. You're looking for love. So without feeling good about yourself, it becomes harder to get the love that you're looking for. So it's those 3 things: self-confidence, it's money, and it's love. That's what happens when you get healthy, you get in shape. The chance of you reaching these 3 things increases drastically.
And how important would you say, Coach Edmonds, is it, you know, vital for a woman to help assist that man on that journey? Because women, they play a role in helping that man become optimized, meaning by not nagging them, by being cooperative, by being feminine, and also being fit themselves. You know, I think a lot of times we put the onus on men, but it's a collaboration where men and women are actually working together to get the best outcomes in relationships, and also making sure their families are sustainable. So how do you feel that a woman, or a great woman, because it's not any woman, but a good woman, helps assist a man on that journey to optimize health?
I'm gonna say this real quick, because my wife coaches the women. This journey started with both of us and our separate journeys together, and then coming together. If you in any way, shape, or form, if you do not do this together, and I mean this by really anything that and if you're in a house, it affects the house. If you don't do this together, it's gonna be a disconnect. Okay. And that's the worst. That leads to divorce. That leads to cheating, affairs. Is going to be a disconnect. Not to say that those things can't happen from other reasons. I'm simply saying the chances go up. So if the man, in both situations, the woman, I'll start with the woman. I'll play the other side. If she's spending all her time getting in shape and looking better, and you getting worse, that's going to be a problem eventually, because she's gonna know her worth, and that's just let's call a spade. And the same thing with the man. If I'm spending all my time looking better, I'm realizing I'm looking better and getting better, and you're not. Number one, you're not trying to do it, and number two, maybe even you're resistant to it. Like, oh, you just going to gym so girls can blah blah blah. That's gonna cause a disconnect, because this is the real world, not a fantasy world. We all say fantasy things, and it's just like you wish it was like that, but that's not the truth. The truth is, if I look real good and you gaining a bunch of weight, that's gonna cause a problem in our house. Eventually, for most houses, that is. I'm not saying for every house.
No. It can. It's a major disconnect. And fitness and wellness is part of your repertoire. And knowing that intrinsically, Coach Edmonds, men are very visual, and we're captivated by a beautiful feminine body, it is going to cause issues. If your body is chiseled and on point, and she's only doing it because she's not doing it because she really want to do it, she's just doing it because you ask her to do it, then it's a major disconnect. It's something health is something you got to want to do. It's something you got to want to do, not only for your own long-term benefits, but also for the benefits of your partner. And I think men and women both should strive to keep themselves looking good for one another, because when you look good, you feel good.
Yep.
And people don't understand the benefits of that. I'm gonna segue this or steer off a little bit, Coach Edmonds. When you think about superheroes, who was your favorite superhero?
Man, sound cliche, man. Black Panther, man.
Black Panther.
It's Black Panther, man.
So what was about Black Panther, man, that made you see the warrior in him?
It's just that it's being a warrior, and that's what super dad. I'm playing off of superhero. I'm playing off of performing at your best, being your best.
Right.
You can't. We all seen them. Everybody and mama seen the movie 300. You can't go into war. Let's say it's live or die. You can't go into war and not prepare for the war, because the chance of you dying just goes up. So those guys in 300, it's not really about the abs. It's about them being mentally and physically equipped for war. So Black Panther, he's ready for war. He has to be prepared for a random challenge to pop up, and that's life. You got to be prepared for a random challenge. So for us Black men, that biggest challenge, especially being in America, is stress. You got to be prepared for, hey, I know I'm a Black man. I know this is America, especially after 2020. This is it's not just about being physically good, it's about being mentally good, and they go hand in hand. So to me, I look at the Black Panther, he's prepared. He's always prepared for a war. He's leading his people. He lives, with strong morals and strong respect. And that's why it's like, that's what I look at, with Black Super Dad, is like, yo, we're leaders. We're literally warrior leaders, especially at a time where we're constantly at war. It's just, we hope it changes. We wish it changed. We're at war. We've been at war for a long time. I don't see us not being at war anytime soon. So we need to be prepared at all times for war. Getting pulled over is war, So that's how I look at it. It gets so much deeper than just health and fitness. It's like, yo, if you went to battle tomorrow, what would be the chances that you lived? If you went to battle, you don't know what the other side has planned. You just know that you need to be your best. And then how I know I'm not my best. Well, that's not automatically your confidence low going into battle. So that's kind of how I see it, man. And that's why Black Panther is my favorite superhero.
No doubt. Well, I will attest, man, that, weightlifting, cardiovascular activity, man, definitely makes a man feel better. It gives him more clarity of mind. It takes away the mental fog. I've actually, Coach Edmonds, used some trace minerals. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But I want to ask you again, why is the warrior class important? Why is the warrior class important?
It's really simple. You have to be prepared for the worst.
Mhm.
That's why it's so important. If you're not prepared for the worst, things can take you out. It's only so many shots that we can take. It's only so many shots your marriage can take. It's so many shots you can take personally. So the goal is to be able to take as many shots as possible. Bulletproof, 50 Cent. Like the goal is to be strong enough to take the L's when they come. So that's kind of how I look at life, especially in my house. Things will be good, but there's a storm that has to come. That's just the way life is. Just the way God made it to be. It's challenging. Right. And if you're not prepared or you're not trying to be prepared, the wrong challenge you can end up homeless. The wrong challenge can end your marriage. The wrong challenge can end your relationship with your children. The wrong challenge can end your relationship with yourself. Mm-hmm. So that's why being the warrior class is so important to be prepared. It's so important to be strong. And the most important, the other side of that is just to be happy. Mm-hmm. The stronger you are, the happier I truly believe you're going to live. The stronger you are mentally, physically, emotionally. Two men go through a divorce. One commits suicide. One doesn't. What was the difference?
Right.
One was stronger. And I'm not speaking on that. I'm simply saying the identifier, one was more prepared to handle it. He could take it. It hurt. Maybe he drank a lot and ate a lot in the process and maybe took some drugs, but he recovered and he's better. The other one, he couldn't take it. And that was,
Well, it's really it's interesting that you say that. And we've talked about it in a couple of shows that I had on the Manhood Chronicles, because manhood is a series of stories, a series of hills and valleys, victories and failures. But also, Coach Edmonds, I think when men go on that negative path to self-deprecation, it can also be because they did not have a purpose outside of the person they were dealing with.
Yeah.
When your purpose is greater than a woman or greater than whatever, then you tend to be long. It don't mean you won't hurt, but you're going to be more sustainable for the long haul, because you can see life outside of that element or article that you love and hold dear most.
Totally agree.
And so when you have a purpose outside of your pain, you're going to hurt. And yes, you're going to be disappointed, but you're not going to stay there. You're going to rise up and proclaim the greatness and proclaim the warrior that's within you. So talking about the warrior class and what I call the indomitable man, because when a man is at his peak fitness, when he's in his best shape, he's really indomitable. It ain't too many things that he can't do, because he's fortified for the mission. He's fortified for the war. Why is testosterone levels at peak? Why is testosterone level at peak levels vital for health, wellness, psychology, and masculine appeal? Because we know testosterone, Coach Edmonds, is the energy, man, that makes a man, like the old folks would say, run on and see what the end gonna be. Yeah. And with testosterone levels dropping, and with men having less than optimized testosterone levels due for a myriad of reasons, stress, blue lights from technology, not eating clean, not drinking plenty of water, not exercising. Why is it so vital, Coach Edmonds, to have optimized testosterone levels?
And I'm gonna make this point blank. It's the same thing that makes Black Panther the Black Panther. That drug that he takes that gives him the superpowers to be the Black Panther. Without the Black Panther, although he's still a strong man, very in shape and fit, but he's not the Black Panther without that. So that's why it's so important, because it's the power. It's like the man's number one power, the power that makes you perform fitness wise, mental wise, sexually wise. Right. It is the drug for men. And when it goes down, when you lose, and it's a natural drug, I don't want anybody to take this wrong when I say drug. It's a natural drug, but of course you can enhance it. But the goal is to produce it naturally. When that goes down, it takes everything with it. It takes your energy, it takes your drive, it takes your clarity, it takes your strength, it takes everything. So when that is optimized, you're just overall a better version, a stronger, literally a stronger, not like some cliche where you're literally a stronger version of yourself. It goes down. You're now a weaker version of yourself. Now you can only perform at 67% capacity. And what is the difference between 67% and 93%? Well, a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of love is the difference. So that's why it's so important. And again, I stress this, to enhance it naturally. Of course, you can go to the doctor and they can shoot you up, but that's a Band-Aid. We know that. But of course, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just while they're doing that, ask your doctor, hey, how can I fix this on my own as well? So I don't have to see you no more and keep getting it. And the shots are also expensive, by the way. Same thing as over the counter. That testosterone boosters are still expensive, and you don't even over the counter even know if it's real, if it's gonna work. That's true. Why it's so important. It's what gives the black man. I'm just say the difference between the black dad and the black super dad is testosterone and health.
And Coach Edmonds, I hear these old tired cliches. A lot of our men are dying early due to the lack of optimal health. And then there's also a scripture that says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge, because they reject it. And so when I see these men, Coach Edmonds, you hear people at the funeral parlor saying, oh, it was just his time. No, it wasn't his time. He could have lived another 20 or 30 or 40 years longer if he had taken the precursor steps to changing his health and getting himself in shape. Men need to work seriously about keeping their bodies in shape. I don't like to see people die before their time, when they could have more or less done something to change it. And listen, I'm not in optimal health, but I'm working on it. I got a bike that I use. I got weights. I got strength bands. I got, I take the best vitamins. I just got to get consistent with it, because as you get older, the testosterone levels drop, man. When you think about Coach Edmonds, the right woman in your life as it relates to having optimal health, why is it so important, Coach Edmonds, to have the right, Coach Ronnie, to have the right woman in your life? Because the right woman can actually increase your testosterone.
Damn right.
But a quarrelsome and a contentious woman is going to run you to the rooftop. Stress kills a lot of men. A lot of men, Coach Ronnie, don't even come home because they don't have peace in their house.
Yeah.
But when you got a woman that's soft and feminine and gentle, she know how to speak to your heart. Man, that will raise your testosterone levels, brother. And if she give you good loving on a consistent basis, that'll raise your testosterone levels. So once again, Coach Ronnie, how is the right woman in your life vital for optimized testosterone levels?
Man, I'm gonna hit this real quick. I'm gonna go out and then come back in with it. Number one, environment. When you join Black Superdad, the first thing we talk about is environment. You unfortunately are the company that you keep. It's no way to shake it. It's no way to change it. If you want to change, you got to change your company. And that goes for everybody. But that starts most important with the people that are inside of your crib. That's the closest. That's your everyday. You see them, you hear them. It could be your wife. It could be your cousin that you let move in. That's your company, especially when it comes to your wife, because that's a different type of company. That's a company that's not supposed to be your friend, it's supposed to be your lover. That company plays a lot of roles. So when that's toxic, or any company is toxic, that's going to take you with it. And that's where stress, life starts to hurt a little bit. You're constantly in a worrisome mode if it's your marriage. So it's so important to me, being a married man, been married for 3 years to my wife, been together 8, having a strong, identical, driven partner is one of the most important things. So a lot of my brothers, they'll say things like, hey man, my wife just keeps wanting to eat fried food, this and that. And I'm like, I understand that. I've been there. Me and my wife have had our quarrels about this whole healthy thing. It's tough. It's tough for everybody. But if you don't fix this, my brother, it's not just going to affect her. It's going to affect you. And you can look up and end up realize that you done gained 100 pounds. Maybe she gained 5 or 10 and she leave you. So you done let her drive you to the place and then she left. Right. Because you've gotten bigger and that whole big black man thing. A lot of my clients are 300-400 plus and their women are a lot smaller. And I'm like, you done let her kind of drive you. And now she's the one saying that she's no longer attracted.
Say that word one more time. Drive you.
Drive. Yeah.
And that's the problem in a lot of our relationships, Coach Ronnie. The men are allowing their women to drive them. And when she's driving you, not only do she lose respect for you, but with an almost 70 to 80% divorce rate, and with, sadly, women initiate divorce at a higher rate than men.
Yep.
That genuine attraction that she has for that man tends to go away. And that's why it's so important for a man to stay on his grind, to stay on his apex, to keep himself looking good so that he can get the best outcomes, Coach Ronnie, that can be beneficial not only for his long-term sustainability, but also beneficial for her long-term sustainability as well. The man that you transform in your transformative program, what have it done to relationships? And what does it bring you?
I always ask men this is how does it affect your relationship? The number one positive is sex drive.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like you said this a couple minutes ago, lack of knowledge. When let's say your drive been low for so long, you kind of forget the importance. Time allows you to forget, but it's never forgotten. So
Mm-hmm.
if you only in coursing or having, sexual relation with your lady once a month, regardless if it's her or you, that's going to cause problems.
Mm-hmm.
The love, I don't care how old, the love is going to slowly go down.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that's that natural thing that keeps, the man and the woman or the partnership bonded. It's not the only thing, it's just one of the bigger, more important things. So the number one thing, the first thing men say is increase my sex drive. And then it getting deeper into me and my wife have been, I had a guy say, man, we've been doing it in the car lately. You know what I'm saying? And he was, I think maybe 45. And that's like, Jesus, that's a pretty good, I felt really good about that accomplishment. That's not normal, to be 45 and doing it in the car or whatever. Right. So that alone, sex drive goes up. That alone increases love. That alone increases that expectancy of that relationship, period.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the number one thing is the drive goes back up. And that makes it, a lot easier to just be in a stronger marriage. Everybody knows that. Not to say that you could have financial issues and all that other jazz, but you can have a little fun and you can still love on each other. That's, to me, one of the most important things, man. So,
Coach Ronnie, what was the psychology behind when you were Clark Kent versus Superman? What was your mental like when you were Clark Kent versus when you became Superman? And maybe you did answer it, but I want you to reiterate it.
For me, and I think you mean Clark Kent as in when I was at my worst. Is that what you mean by that?
Yes, sir. Right. Uh-huh.
Perfect. So when I was at my worst, man, it was just I can say the mentality was I was always hiding.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of my clients can relate and attest to this as well, to where you wear certain clothes to try to hide yourself. You stop going to places you used to go. So meaning I graduated college, with a six pack. I was known as the guy that take off his shirt at parties. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of hiding. I'm hiding from that. I'm hiding from the people that used to know me like that. I'm hiding from social media. So you become a person that runs. Mm-hmm. So one of the things my clients always say, I stop hanging out with my boys because as soon as we get together, they crack all the big jokes and I act like it's cool, but it's not really cool. Mm-hmm. So you mask. And the worst thing you can do in life is to hide, because the truth always come to light, whether naturally or unnaturally, regardless, it's going to hit you. So you can lie all you want to yourself or to people, but it hurts you no matter what. Mm-hmm. So that's where I was when I felt I was Clark Kent. And then when I started to get my body back, now, and I'm not to say that I'm out here looking like Black Panther. I'm very healthy and lean and in shape. When I started to get my body back, I got that same feeling that I used to have. And I hate when brothers say, I used to run this fast or I used to do this. And I'm like, brother, you're not dead. You can still do that unless you truly got some sort of real injury preventing that. But don't say I used to. Let's work on getting close to that. Let's work on you being that, very in shape. Our oldest client is, I think, like 65. Okay. And he's now under 200 pounds, which started at 270. So, and it sucks he won't let me use his photo. he just used that is, and this goes towards what you were saying. He's literally that ashamed of what it used to look like.
Right.
So he's literally hiding from it. So that's the biggest difference is hiding versus wanting to be visible and being okay with being visible. And I'm not saying you got to have an 8-pack or it's whatever that means to you. Visible might just mean your stomach doesn't show over your belt. I don't know. If whatever it means to you, confidence is we create how we feel, period. So it's whatever it takes to have that feeling like, man, I feel like Superman, whatever that looks like. So
right.
That answers it.
One of the benefits, Coach Ronnie, of intermittent fasting in the weight loss journey, what would you tell the audience about the benefits of intermittent fasting in how can I say it? In conjunction with your Super Dad workout program?
So we actually do intermittent fast. We don't call it that. I'm not a fan of titles. I'm not a fan of rules. The number one, I don't get into the science. I'm gonna just be blunt. I don't get into all the science of fasting. Of course, there's plenty of benefits. Number one benefit, especially in pertaining to a Black man, is control. The problem that myself, all my clients dealt with is we grew up, most of us, a lot of us, on corner store food. We grew up eating hot chips. The difference is we was playing a sport that allowed us to eat those foods and still maintain our weight. We was burning 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 calories at football practice. Now that we older, we continue that behavior and you're not burning those calories the same. Now you got a problem. So intermittent fasting for my clients is not about all those fat burning science, and no, it's about control. It allows you to be in control. When you create rules, anytime you have a rule, like in your marriage, the rule is don't cheat. And even when you do it, at least you know you broke the rule. It is clear that there was a rule and I broke the rule, and that's okay. You know, hopefully we can fix this, but it's clear. So intermittent fasting is just be in control. So intermittent fasting doesn't mean fast and then eat Popeyes throughout the day.
Right.
But naturally, people know not to do that. So if you're practicing intermittent fasting, you're also practicing the health benefits that you know to do while intermittent fasting. So I use fasting as a trick. I'm just tricking you to practice health. That's all I'm doing. You know not to fast and then eat sloppy joes throughout the day. You know that. You know to fast and then eat some oatmeal and eat a salad. So I'm just tricking my clients. And I tell them this. It's not like I'm hiding. I'm like, I'm tricking you. And you know I'm tricking you. I'm trying to get you to practice health. So fasting, it gets you in the mindset of practicing health, and that gives you all the benefits that comes with proper nutrition. Do you need to fast? Absolutely not. I'm gonna be the first, because you already do that when you go to sleep. You already are fasting. You know, everyone, but you know, some people don't think of it that way. They just think of it as sleep. You're in a fasted state, and then when you wake up, we just prolong that to stop you from going to McDonald's right now.
Right. That's why. Right. That's what breakfast is. Break the fast. That's what
break the fast, whatever that is.
Right. But I guess what the correlation is, you know, just like the circadian rhythm plays a role in your losing weight as well, because sleep, I think, Coach Ronnie, is probably the biggest factor in keeping the man healthy and keeping his testosterone levels healthy. Absolutely. And also, but when you break the fast, you know, like the intermittent fasting, some say the 11-6, well, they say 10-6 for a man of my size. So you eat your first meal at 10, and you try to get all your food in that, and you know, maybe you get one big meal, and then you don't eat anything else after that. And if you're working out, you got to eat if you're working out. And then so it depends on if you have a sedentary lifestyle or you are doing what you're doing, you know, requiring men to work out. Do you see a correlation, Coach Ronnie, between legacy building and optimized health? Do you see a correlation between legacy building and optimized health? And if so, let's talk about it.
Man, the correlation, when you talk about a legacy, the first thing I think of is you pass something down. That's first thing that comes to mind when you leave something. But in order to leave it, you got to live it. You can't, you know, leave money that you don't have. You can't leave health that you did not obtain. So what happens when you get in shape? Naturally, if you're really an active father, right, and you're active, your kids are gonna have to be active. There is not a choice. My grandfather played basketball, my aunt played basketball, my mama, everybody. So naturally, I did not have a choice but to play a sport. And then my grandpa actually made me run cross country as well. So he left me with the gift of chasing health. Without explaining why or the importance, is just the fact that he did. And now I'm, you know, he was my father growing up, and he left that with me. So legacy is what you do it, you live it first, and then you leave it behind. So absolutely. So if you don't, the chance if you just don't take care of yourself, well, you're probably not going to require that. The chance of you requiring that of your children goes down, you know, because you know that, you know, I'm not practicing what I'm preaching. Therefore, it's hard for me to preach it if I'm not practicing it. And you don't want to be the guy that just yells and has never done it. So absolutely, is you know, Black Super Dad is about being a father. It's about literally the definition of Black Super Dad is the Black man of the house that takes care of his mind and body in order to pass it down. The goal is to change the future by doing it in the present, but you can't change it if you don't do it. So 1000%.
No doubt, right? I totally agree with you 100%, brother. You know, and I would say more so now than anything, when a man leaves his family, he leaves his family and his children unprotected. And when his wife is unprotected due to him being negligent with his health, his children become unprotected. And so, Coach Ronnie, there's a correlation in science when fathers are when fathers are active in the homes, kids tend to have better outcomes. Because if you look at it in the lens of theology, Christ got his power from God the Father. And God transferred that power to man when we apply it. And so when you think about a lot of young men now, the absence of fathers, it's caused a lot of homes to be broken. And that brokenness is leading to a crisis in our communities where, our communities are broken, brother, compared to a time that I remember. You're younger than me. I'm 49, so I'm sure you're in your 30s. You look young. You're young to be my son.
30.
You're a baby, man. You're younger to be my son, but the communities are failing. And when I see men like you, man, I'm encouraged. I actually feel it. I get excited, man. I went on your page and saw you holding your son. You chopping up with your wife. But what I noticed though, Coach Ronnie, people don't give brothers like you a lot of love, man. They don't give brothers like you a lot of love. And I want to open a can of worms, but I'm like, this brother's doing phenomenal work. He should be having, and I'm like, what is that about? And I be peeping there. It's almost like we're so conditioned to dysfunction that when people see vibrant men like me and yourself, it's like they're not used to it. Instead of them congratulating, they hate it because dysfunction is more normal, Coach Ronnie. Dysfunction is more normal than function. What's your take on that?
My biggest take on it is it's unfortunate, and that's the biggest thing that I want to shift. So you'll see some of this shift in February because I'm gonna make my clients promote love. It's like it's the black man's pride. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. And when you see, like, I don't know, I'm not trying to say a well black home. It sucks that it's such an anomaly. It's such a unicorn.
Yes, sir. You're right.
It pisses me off. It's like, and it's like I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't know what it is. It's just unused to it, and the comments that come with it. Oh, he this now. Oh, he that now. Of course, I got problems in my home, man. Just because you see a pretty picture, but the picture I'm trying to paint means I'm trying to make that happen.
No doubt.
And don't take away my or your success from your lack of trying. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason. Failure is only when you don't try. That's my personal opinion. It's only when you're not trying to make it happen. Everybody can have majority of things you see, but you're not trying to make it happen. And don't take that out on me, which is why I hate people that just hate on people all day. You hate on these celebrities. Why are you so mad? Because they got what you don't have, because they tried harder, they worked harder. Mm-hmm. You don't know their background. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know their story. You just know what you see, and that's all you judge by. So it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate that it's a unicorn, and that's one thing I want to change, which is why February, along with Black History, I'm promoting love. I'm like, yo, hey, I want all, because we got 500 clients. Everybody post yourself kissing your son. Mm-hmm. All right, everybody give your son a kiss on video, since that's such a weird thing in our culture. Everybody post loving your family. Post that. And let's try at least to start and make it somehow one day a normal thing to see, and not some, the stereotype is a deadbeat Black father. That's the thing that I'm going against. Is like, that's not the truth. That's just it's not the truth. It's not true.
It's not true at all. Actually, there's research, Coach Ronnie, that says that Black fathers actually are great fathers. We tend to take care of our kids better, but the narrative in the media tend to more or less. They're talking about the Raekwons, and what I call the man-mans. Those are the ones that they're talking about, but overwhelmingly, they're great fathers like you and myself. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I got my flaws.
Same here.
but I got my flaws, brother. But I would say, for the most part, I worked hard to become the man that I am today. And here's another thing, like you were saying, when people say, you think you're better. Yeah, I do think I'm better. You know why? Because I put in the work. I'm not better by default, Coach Ronnie, but I'm better because I put in the work to become better. And you should never hide your shine to try to appease people, because you put in the work to become the man that you are today. So don't you ever hide your shine to try to appease people, because you're right. Normal now is abnormal, and abnormal is normal. And look, it's a myriad of reasons why we see these pathologies in our community. There's a myriad of reasons, but at the end of the day, we cannot have a vibrant Black family and Black community until we get cooperation from our women, until the men become the exemplars in their families that they need to become, and until we work together in unison and, you know, free of this, you know, some of these liberal ideologies that's caused our families to be so fragmented. So in my opinion, that's very important. What is the negative impact of stress on the physical health of a man? Cortisol levels rise because of stress. What is the negative impact, Coach Ronnie, of stress on the psyche of a man?
I'm gonna be super blunt, because this is probably the number one thing I get from my clients, which is the whole "you don't know what I'm going through" thing. Oh man, I'm gonna be blunt. I'm trying not to be as blunt as I usually would if this was me on my own show, but no one cares. I'm gonna just be real. Nobody cares because they're too busy worrying about their own shit. So don't use what you're going through to justify what's happening. Don't. Right. Don't. You wasting your own energy, you wasting your life, and you're justifying it. Not only does stress cause mental, it will mess everything up, not because it's stress, because of lack of being dealt with properly. Stress is something we all have to have. From the day we born, my son, he's 2 now. When he come home and his food not ready, he gonna be stressed. Right. Period. He's pissed off. He's yelling at us. He's angry. He's tantruming. The terrible twos is crazy right now in the house, and he's stressed. And the goal is to try to help him deal with that stress better right now. And in this moment, I need to help him. So stress affects everything, especially the physical. And the first thing clients, you know, a brother will tell me is, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And I would then ask him, my goal as a coach to expose you. When were you not going through something? If you can answer me that question, when was there not anything going on, that any hurdles, any roadblocks? Nobody has that answer. At every stage is always something happening to us. Some crazy is going on. That's how life is. Your goal is to be able to deal with what is going on. So stress, to answer that question simply, is going to stop you from wanting to exercise. It's going to stop you from wanting to eat right. And that's going to cause consequences. The consequence of weight gain and everything that comes with it. The consequences of losing mental clarity. The consequence of not, you know, giving your wife attention, love, and affection. The consequence of you not giving yourself self-love. So it goes through the roof if not managed properly. This whole game, the number one roadblock for all, not just Black men, everybody, is you're not dealing with your shit well. That's your only issue. If you figure that out, whatever you're looking for on the other side will come to light. If you just figure out how to deal with what's stopping it, you can address that. So when people say stress, I'm like, what stress? Get specific. What is specifically the problem? Cool, it's money. Well, get even more specific. Why is that a problem? What's going on with money? Cool, you're not making enough. Cool, how much do you need? Get real specific. I need 10,000 extra a year. Cool. Now we got a specific number to try to fight for. But in the meantime, until that happens, what must be true around that to fight at your highest level? Because if you do nothing, well, that number isn't going to probably happen. You're just going to keep working the same job. You don't try, and we can go down a rabbit hole of consequences. So long story and short story short, you know, it's consequences.
No, you're right. It is consequences. And there's also consequences when you're trying to become the person that you want to become. It took me years, man, to become what I call myself the kosher clinician, because, you know, even though I'm a clinical therapist, you know, I look at everything, man. I try to use a purist approach from the therapeutic model and look at everything and all factors, issues that are controversial and also issues that are not controversial, or what's quote unquote PC, to blend it, Coach Ronnie, and to helping people understand male psychology and the importance of masculinity. Why is masculinity, Coach Ronnie, so important at this critical point in America? Why is masculinity so important at this critical nexus in America?
Man, I'm gonna put it like this, man. 2020 is why it's so important. And as of right, you know, as of the way things have been for a long time, not to say that they're changing slowly. Women are earning super high leadership. Our vice president is Black, and she's a woman. But at the end of the day, she's surrounded by a whole bunch of leader men. And everything that happened in 2020 is leadership. And I'm not going to get into specifics or policy. I'm just simply going to say it's leadership. And who's typically leading? The man. And what happens if the man is insecure, the opposite of masculine? Well, he's going to do bad things. You know, he's going to power grabs and the whole nine. happens when the wrong person or insecure person is of power. So masculinity, to me, I look at it as it's like a man with his the opposite of insecurity, your real power. You've asked, the reason why you need testosterone is to be masculine, is to have that strong figure. If you drew masculine on a piece of paper, I'm sure to have some muscles. It might have a briefcase and a lot of money and a big house. I don't know. Everybody's different visually, but that's what it's a positive, to me, like a positive power. It's having that thing that holds things together. So being masculine in your home is what holds the home together. Being the opposite of that is being insecure, to where your wife say she's going out with her friends and you show up to make sure there wasn't no dudes around, and she ain't never had a track record of doing something like that.
Right.
So that's why it's so important. It's what is needed right now is strong, really everybody, but really strong male ownership right now, and leadership is what's needed, especially in the Black community. And that's always been needed for us, but especially after everything from 2020.
No doubt. I'm gonna challenge your thought, and I love your thought process because you're a good brother. I'm a firm believer that men should have boundaries in relationships, and because people say sometimes, Coach Ronnie, some say it's being insecure. I don't think it's always insecure. I just think it's a lack of boundaries. I think once you become married, there are boundaries for men and women they should try to uphold. But I think sometimes our women are trying to use that shaming language and say, "Oh, you're insecure." No, it has nothing to do with insecurity. I got expectations as a man, and I got boundaries. No more than if you and I were friends, and say your wife and I were good friends in high school. When you get married, I'm gonna fall back because I respect your relationship. Mm-hmm. And so there got to be boundaries in relationship. And I challenge all young men. You're a young man to me. You're a great young man. Don't ever let a man or a woman shame you for having boundaries and principles. Because a lot of times that's shaming language to control you. And I don't want to see you or any other young man fall prey to what I call a pathology, because that's a psychopathology in my opinion. So, but anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. So anyway, so we talked about the power of testosterone. Let's talk about the power of water, Coach Ronnie. The power of water, and also the power of alkaline water. Why is alkaline water, Coach Ronnie, so important?
So the first step, before we even get into alkaline water, the basis of Black Super Dad is simple. It's do the simple thing that you already knew to do, but you're not doing. So starting off with putting the thing that your body is majority made up of back into your body, which is water. It's like the fact that my clients know not to drink pop. That's the first. I gave up pop one time. I lost 30 pounds. I hear that a lot. So you knew not to drink it, but you kept drinking it. Water is the key, the first metric. Before we do anything else, that's the first thing that has to, is that good? Before exercise, the last thing you want to do is exercise and drink pop, because you just literally doubled the dehydration of the body. Water is what we're made up of. That's why it's so damn important to keep putting it into your body.
Right.
The benefits is crazy. The benefits is it could prevent diseases in the future. The benefits is health. The benefits is energy. The benefits is fitness, but it's on a simple level. It's on a basis. So the first thing your doctor, if your blood pressure go up, the first thing they're going to check and see is where's your hydration levels. That's the first thing they're going to see. They're going to give you some electrolytes immediately. So it's these no-brainer things that we know to do this, and we're not doing it. So before we even get into alkaline, I'm like, are you even drinking water? I don't care what type of water. It could be the faucet. That's still better than pop.
Right.
Guys like, hey, the faucet water is a little dirty. It's better than pop, though. Like, compare it to the next thing. And then we get into alkaline, and that's just further increasing hydration. The goal is just increasing hydration, making sure that you're hitting those levels that you need to be hitting. So do I think alkaline is necessary? No, it's an addition to, it's to help benefit, because it's not always available, which makes it's not a necessity. It's okay, I'm in this lifestyle. Now let me upgrade to alkaline. Now let me upgrade to organic. But the first step, before organic is eat a regular apple first. That's better than a bag of chips. And then when you're ready, go ahead to Whole Foods and go crazy. So I can go all day. It's the foundation of not just health, but life in general is water. Water can help regulate your blood pressure.
Right. No, you're right. And also water is also good for your urology system, which is also good for your sex. Man, I'm telling you, man, if you want to have stronger semen outbursts, water is actually good for it, man. But when your body is dehydrated, you can't get the optimized effect of semen if you don't have enough water. Water is like the super mineral for the body. I think 80%, 70%, 50% of the body is water, correct?
Yeah, 70%. And I keep it real simple with my clients. Your pee should be semi-clear.
Right.
Pretty much at all times. If
at all times, right.
Cool, if it's real yellow one day, cool. Chug down a liter. You'll be all right. It'll turn right back. That just means your body isn't when you mention semen, your body isn't getting what it needs to fuel. Water is like it's giving its energy, it's putting it's a gas. It's giving it's gas for the car. So without gas, with a car, maybe still can run for a little bit until it finally breaks down.
So Coach Ronnie, listen, man, how much more time you got, brother? I know you got to get right.
Yeah, just a couple minutes would be cool.
Give me a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yep, perfect.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. So let's get into the type of weights to use, Coach Ronnie, to help build optimized testosterone. Some say I've seen you on your platform doing deadlifts. Deadlifts has been very important, to building testosterone. What types of stretching should men my age incorporate? And tell me why deadlifts are so important to building testosterone and upper body strength.
So I stopped doing deadlifts. A lot of back problems. So, me and my 25, 24, 23, if you go back far enough on my Facebook and my Instagram, I was lifting like a maniac, and that caused a lot of back issues to date. So deadlifts is a semi full body exercise, and that's why it's so great. It's a complex exercise. It uses a lot of different body parts, but is it needed or required? Absolutely not. The only exercise that is required for, like, let's just say optimal health before we get into anything else is the same thing we learned when we were infants. Is the goal with being an infant and then a toddler is to get up and finally walk. That's that's the foundations of Black Super Dad. As anybody's watching this, I challenge you to start walking a mile a day today, starting today. Just about 1 mile a day, start there, and that'll take you to 2, 3. You'll go crazy eventually, because that's what we do as people. We start something and we take it up a notch. But as far as strength, weights are still an addition to. So I always try to act like if I was a caveman, if I had nothing, how would I function? How would I get strong enough to climb up a rock? That's when we just say body weight. We start with body weight, push-ups, dips, pull-ups. If you can get pull-ups, if you can't get pull-ups, get a little bar in your house and start with whatever you can do, even if it's just like standing pull-ups or door pull-ups, but just body weight functions. Resistance bands is like that next step. Now you getting into some resistance, and then you can get into weights. But there is no one method to Black Super Dad. We got clients that bike for a living. We got clients that body weight only. We got clients that only do weights. All my programs are pretty much you choose. So I give you like a workout program for whatever. All I care about is you do 3 workouts a week and you walk every day. Right. It doesn't matter what or how, depending on your goals. Of course, if you want to get your biceps bigger, there's only so much you can do with your own body to make that happen. You're going to have to incorporate resistance. But if that's not the goal, well, no, the goal is to be healthy. Cool, man. Body weight and walking. That's all we need. You don't need anything else unless you want something else.
Okay. And so a lot of times, Coach Ronnie, people don't get the trace minerals in their diet. I share a regimen that I use. I take zinc perclinate. Zinc is known to increase testosterone levels. I take Solgar. I take the most purest form of zinc. Perclinate is supposed to be good for testosterone levels. I take vitamin D because I'm a clinical therapist and I don't get the sunlight, and I'm dark skinned. So, I take some vitamin D. I take also copper, because too much zinc will take copper out of the body. And also I take the vitamin B100 complex. What are some trace minerals? Now, listen, we know you can get a lot of it in your food, but unfortunately, we don't always get it in our food. But what trace minerals, Coach Ronnie, do you recommend for men to keep their testosterone optimized, but also their health?
So it's not that I recommend anything. When clients join me, I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna fight this question with a stereotype in Black people, Black culture, which is not going to the doctor.
Right.
With all these ghost stories, they trying to kill us, they trying to this, and this. Let me get this really clear. you don't got to take the pill. You don't got to take the drug. Go to the doctor and let them strap whatever machine to you, and at least you have the problem. You don't got to do what they tell you to do. You don't got to do the prescription, right? Just because I tell you to walk a mile, you don't got to do it. All right, there's many ways to get in shape. That's my way. Simply, but you're telling me you're overweight or whatever the case may be. Well, now we got a problem because you got to do something. So the first thing is go to the doctor and get your workup, get your blood done. They're just taking blood out. They're not putting anything in. They're just taking it out, and they're going to assess, and they're going to tell you what the test results are. So every year I get my full makeup, and my doctor will tell me what's extremely high, what's extremely low. Right. And that's but that's just my routine.
No, that's good. That's good.
I'm just like, and then she'll tell me like if this is low, and then I'm asking her the consequences of low vitamin D, low B12, B2, energy, vitamins, and then I move from that workup. But without that, I can't really say I don't really get an essential outside of taking a multivitamin. For the simple fact is it's all around your food. The types of food you're eating is what gives you more all of your nutrients. So of course, if you're not eating any meat ever, you're gonna have to supplement that somehow from some sort of over-the-counter vitamin or pill or whatever the case may be. So essential is if you're eating healthy, you are getting most essential in. Take a regular multivitamin, a good one, but take a regular multivitamin, and then most importantly, go to your doctor and get your workup. Let your doctor explain to you what you're lacking and give you complete clarity. So that's what I hate. And that's what I hate about the supplement world, because everything is good. You know, every addition is good, but you don't know what's good for you. Right. You know, so if you eat a lot of meat, where certain vitamins you never will have to take ever. You know, a lot of milk, you never have to take vitamin D. But if you don't, lactose or whatever, well, then now you need to supplement it.
You're right. I agree with you 100%. It also is based on body weight distribution.
Yes.
I'm 6'5", man. So my fists are big. So you might not need as much protein as I need.
You need a lot more.
Right. You have to eat according to your what's called your biology, man. At 6'5", I'm gonna need more protein if I'm lifting heavy weights. But as a sedentary therapist, I can cut back. It's like a protein calculator that you can use. And that protein calculator will tell you how much protein that you need in your diet. But I'm gonna tell you something also, Coach Ronnie, about like vitamin D levels. A lot of times doctors will give you like an average range, but sometimes they say, well, your vitamin D is at 20. It's normal, but it's low normal. But you want to have your vitamin D in an average range, and your testosterone, like at your age, you're a young cat, man. Shoot, I'm sure your testosterone is at 700-900. I envy you. I need to come to Wakanda, man. But when you get my age, man, you know, I mean, I'm sure it's decent, but, you know, a lot of men testosterone levels in the 300s. And, man, that's horrible. I mean, that's an old man testosterone level, because men years ago had, like granddads and man, the 70s had testosterone levels in the 3s and 4s. But you got young men with testosterone in the 3s and 400s, man. A lot of it's due to diet. A lot of it's due to GMOs in food. It's a myriad of reasons. So real quick, Coach Ron, before I let you go, how can I get the show on your page on Super Dads? What do I need to do to transfer this show on your page so other men can see it? And what did you get out of the show, brother?
So, you know, everything is on, blacksuperdad.com. The Facebook is Coach Ronnie. The Instagram is coach.ronnie. And as far as what I got out of it, man, it's just good to talk to another brother that understands what I understand. So a lot of the arguments that I have with prospects or people going against my word or whatever is they just don't understand. Lack of knowledge and lack of trying to be informed. So it's good to talk to a brother that is informed. It's good to talk to a brother that speaks and thinks how I think, because that's the best part about something like this is it's what the culture needs, and what especially Black men need is, instead of all that junk we take in from, social media beef and streams and all that other things, is actually hearing a word from two types of brothers, one younger, one older, and it's still a similar conversation. And
right.
It's the best part.
I'm older, but I still got swag. Don't get it twisted.
Hey, I see it, man. You got the zip up on like me. You know what I'm saying? Beard trim.
Well, I might be 49, but I got that middle age swag. I
see it. Hey, you're the Panthers, man. I went to school with Kawan Short. That's on the Panthers right now.
Right.
High school and college. So that's dope.
You went to Purdue? You went to Purdue?
Yep.
Oh,
Purdue
wow.
University, graduated in 13. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I went to UNC Chapel Hill, man.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I represent the Hills, man. But I'm trying to see if I can find the. I see your link. I'm trying to send the show. Maybe I can send the show to your messenger, and then maybe you can get it. You can get it that way. Maybe you can get the show that way, and then you can post it up to your to your channel. But I want you to get the message out, man. And I was very enthralled to have you